Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about things you should know before you buy a Honda Acty. And to be honest, most of these things I touch on are probably going to be applicable to most K-type vehicles. A little backstory on the car that's behind us. It's a 1991 Honda Acty, and the way that it came about was very impulsive, to be honest with you. So my brother was just browsing through Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, actually, one of the two. And he saw this car and literally just bought it without really knowing anything on it. And that is how this car became a part of the Salad Bar stable. Now we're going to get started with that list. The first thing that comes to mind is how much attention this car draws. It's actually really surprising. So like Jesus and I have taken my MR2 to a car show along with this car, and this thing drew a crowd, which was really shocking. People just loved how oddball it is. That interest crosses over into people that don't really typically care about cars. It's actually really crazy. I've personally had people knock on my door. Jesus has had the same thing. I've even had a person follow me, which was kind of unnerving. That's not a very good feeling when you have some random stranger following you. In the end, though, they were just curious about the car. Jesus has actually had cash offers randomly on the car. So people absolutely love it, which is really cool because it's nice to be able to share something like this. It's just if you're an introvert, you know, it might be a little awkward. Now let's talk about one of the worst things a car can have, and that is rust. Every single Honda Acty or K car I've ever seen has either had rust or rust repair. It's just kind of the name of the game with these things. So before you get one, definitely check the car over to make sure that it's minimal rust, or at least it's been repaired properly, because otherwise it gets super expensive to do body work unless you can do it yourself, which kudos to you, because that's not the easiest thing either, since it's a lot of patience. How you drive this type of car is actually a very important thing to consider. I've had people message me asking, how is it like to daily drive and stuff like that? And I'll tell you, in the city, there's not really any issues. It keeps up the traffic fine. If you're on the highway, some back roads, it is absolutely terrifying. So yes, the car, mechanically speaking, the powertrain can keep up. You're going to be at the higher end of the RPM range, and you'll be going 60, 65 miles per hour, give or take. But let me tell you, you're not going to be overtaking anyone. Also, the car has so much body roll that if a car passes you, it's actually pretty terrifying again, because like you can feel it, and it just, it's not something I would do again. Parts, that's another tough one. So just as one example, when we needed new tires for this car, just because the ones that came on it were dry rotted, it was kind of a hassle to try to find OE replacements. So what we ended up doing was getting tires off of, or rims and tires off of a CRX, and they bolted right up. Now that's actually kind of a common theme, at least for people here in the US that I've seen. We'll typically have to find like an OE replacement. So like for the oil filter, instead of, you know, getting one from Japan, we got one that fit like a 2000s Honda Civic. And of course the forums were a big help in trying to figure that stuff out. Now, that's not to say you can't get parts. There's actually several really good websites that are parts suppliers. They import stuff and then you can buy them here in the US. I'll make sure to link to those down below. Overall, it is manageable to get parts. It's just something you got to really think ahead about. So if this is like your only car, that may not be the best idea. At least for the US, again, I can't really talk about other countries because some countries might have gotten or have easier access to parts versus us. Speaking about parts and maintenance, it's super important to make sure you change out the timing belts on these cars. I can't speak for all of them, but I do know some of them are interference engines. And obviously, if you snap your timing belt, you're probably going to bend a valve. It's not guaranteed, but the probability of that happening is very likely. And that's a very expensive fix and or time consuming if you're doing it yourself. I've read enough stories on the forums about people having their timing belt snap on the Honda Actys that I think it's definitely something that's a worthwhile mention. And again, more than anything, it's just good preventative maintenance. So just kind of a quick recap. Obviously, watch out for rust. Definitely consider how you're going to drive this car. Be considerate of how you're going to get parts. Also, when you go out, I'd recommend leaving some extra time because I guarantee someone's going to talk to you. So if you own a Honda Acty or any type of K car, leave some comments down below about your experiences, some things that would be nice to know. So hopefully we can help other people out and have some type of, it's not necessarily a buyer's guide, but just some resource to point them in the right direction. With that being said, guys, see you guys in the next video.